Today, we're in Pennsylvania, visiting Malin from Good Hands Roofing. Malin?
Yes.
Awesome, good
Nice-
stuff. And then
nice
your brother's
to meet you.
Melvin, right?
Yeah.
Melvin, good to see you, man. A family-owned business that did $1.6 million in revenue last year.
We do roofing, siding, gutters, softened fascia.
According to their reports, more than $278,000 of completed work still hasn't been paid for. You notice we haven't filled in anything else because this is the only problem. My name is Mike Andes. I'm the founder of Augusta Lawn Care, where we have over 170 locations worldwide. And I travel the country helping small businesses scale to the next level. Our goal is to give Malin a 6-week strategy to get the business to $3 million in revenue this year.
February, things got pretty tough.
Right.
Our bank account went from like 160K down to 40K. There was even a job that we had to go back on that we still have, like we'll probably have to pay out like 15K to fix it. If it would have gone worse than it did, it could have taken us out of business.
Have you heard the 4O framework, kind of what it is? The 4O framework is about solving the constraints in growing a business. Liquidity, leads, labor, and leadership. In that order. Once you have liquidity or cash, I'm gonna turn that into customers or leads using advertising. When I get a bunch of customers, I'm gonna need more laborers. Employees actually go do the work in the home service industry. Once I get a bunch of employees or laborers out in the field, I need to go get managers or leadership. And that costs more money, causing more pressure on liquidity, and the business cycle continues. When I look at the constraint currently, I actually think liquidity is the main thing. And that's just money in the bank. Because right now, if you had $200,000 in the bank, you would feel A, less stress, B, you could continue growing and it not be a huge risk to the business. The question is, how do we do that? And I think there's several things. So collections, people who don't pay right away at the end, we need to have a process in place. Now, when we look at trying to improve how much money we collect on overdue invoices, there's a lot of ways to attack it throughout the entire sales process. One is simply changing the terms and conditions on our estimate. So for example, right now, do you charge any fees after say 30 days?
We don't enforce it.
Okay, so we kind of create a 6-week plan. How do we actually solve some of these constraints? So payment conditions and terms, so payment terms, we're gonna actually enforce them. Right now, does it say 30 days is your invoices are due?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll say on there.
Yeah, man, we just can't do that. We are a bank right now. Payment terms on the estimate, I think we need to go 7 days overdue. So after 7 days, we do start to charge fees. But I do expect that when I do the inspection and everything's good, that I collect the final bill. So the question is, how do we do that? Is we're gonna have either a credit card on file or an ACH on file. So payment on file.
Do you charge credit card fees when customers use credit cards then?
So right now, how do people pay?
They can pay with credit card. We don't have the fees set up yet. I usually tell them to pay with check.
You're either paying the fees or you're paying in holding costs. Holding costs, everyone's like, I will take checks. And then they wonder why we have $120, $30, $150, $200,000 in outstanding invoices.
Right.
And so I would rather eat the fees and raise my prices by 3%. Right now, Good Hands is charging 30% as a deposit or down payment on any invoice that's more than $250. And I like the fact that they're at least collecting deposits. We have a deposit threshold already of $250. I like that. But we need to increase the percentage to 50%. The reason is because otherwise we are losing money on every job before we get the money back. We get 30%, but then we're paying 30 or 40% to materials, another 30 or 40% out to direct labor. And we're actually going in the hole until finally, and hopefully, the customer pays us after the job. Collecting money later is never, ever a good idea. I would just change your deposit threshold to 50%. That would be 20% of your revenue in your bank account. So 20%, that'd be an extra 30 to 40 grand right now in your bank. You notice we haven't filled in anything else because this is the only problem. The only problem is that we do good work, we have leads, we have good labor, it's a really solid team,
Yeah, we do.
and a really good leadership team.
Yeah.
We just don't collect the money once we made it, right?
I thought that was our least problem.
No, money is important, money is important.
When I took a look at our business, I thought this was our least pain point, but it turns out that in order for us to scale, it is our most pain point. I had no idea.
We're gonna change the payment terms, we're gonna get payment on file, and we're gonna charge at least 50% down. I would also offer a paid in full discount. In the perfect world, every single one-time project would be paid in full, 100%, before the job even takes place. But a lot of times, home service business owners We're concerned by the fact that if we require that and we make it mandatory, that we will lose out on jobs. And you could be right. But what if you could give them the option to pay in full? When they had a $15,000 job, you required 50% down, but you gave them the option to pay in full. And you might even give them a discount if they were to pay 100% of the job before it even got on the books. Now, you all don't have a ton of recurring customers coming back to you, but there are people that know, like, and trust you. They've seen your stuff online, they've seen your website, they trust you guys. 10% off if you pay us up front.
15% is a good profit margin for the roofing. So I would prefer maybe to do 5% off if you pay full.
Given a discount. Like, if you're able to save $1,000 off of your roof because you paid in full, that might be of important to someone. This is also why I use it. Someone says, hey, we're really watching the budget. Like, can you guys squeeze this down at all? Well, you know what, Mr. Jones, we do have another discount. If you pay the whole thing in front, then you do get 5% off. It saves you an extra $1,000. Now, because we have our payment terms ironed out, because we have credit cards on file, this shouldn't really happen much. And that is customers not paying. But we do need to create some sort of automated follow-up, texts and emails going out to the customer. I'm doing 1 day, 3 day, 5 day, 7 day. You can do it as much as you want. I will harass the person until they pay me. But this is your last line of defense, and that is like, we need to collect the money.
That's funny because you're not gonna like this one, but last week we just like finished up a like 70K job.
Cool.
And you paid 30% down, so it is, I think it was like around 40K or 42K. So I said, hey, I'm gonna call you up, can I do the job inspection now? He's like, yeah, go ahead. And so I did the final walkthrough, and he's like, oh, are you guys gonna come back up for the check, or do you want us to, how do you wanna do it? Do you want us, and I was like, oh, don't worry about it.
No, the office will send that to you later.
You can just mail it.
No, we need to make more money. We need to collect every dollar possible. Okay, final inspection equals money in pocket. So we're gonna completely avoid overdue invoices by attacking 3 distinct areas. First, during the estimate process, I'm collecting a larger deposit. Then at the job being done, the inspection, the walkthrough with the customer, I'm collecting all of the invoice. And if all else fails, I'm gonna have a card on file, the third part, a card on file or an ACH bank account on file to be able to charge the customer. I should never have an invoice overdue by more than 7 days.
I mean, this is really cool. Like, it opens up my mind to a lot of the pain points that I've been feeling and how to solve them, so I appreciate that.
If you want to see a 6-week check-in with Malin, click the video attachment above. This is the full episode where we break down the entire business of Good Hands Roofing.